Hello, and welcome to the OUTLIER and ADAPT podcast, the go-to show for anyone passionate about enhancing design and building in Oz. I'm Anthony, the founder of OUTLIER, and I'm here with my co-host Jess from ADAPT Design Group. We're both deeply committed to designing homes that are not only aesthetically pleasing, but also perform exceptionally well. We regularly sit down to discuss home design and occasionally joined by industry experts. Our goal is to educate and inspire Australians on the possibilities of creating homes that are healthy, comfortable, and energy efficient. Whether you're planning to build your dream home, renovate your current space, or just keen to learn about sustainable design, we invite you to join us each episode on your favorite podcast platform. We hope you'll join us on this exciting journey to build better homes. In this enlightening episode, we interview Troy Harris, founder of Harris Build, and he shares his experiences of building in the Cape and the surrounds. We explore his passion for sustainable construction, his educational journey, and the wisdom he imparts to younger individuals in the industry. We discover the challenges and triumphs of building in the Cape and put forward some thought-provoking questions. Listen as Troy offers advice to aspiring builders, discussing the key skills and knowledge needed to succeed in the industry. Don't miss this thought-provoking podcast episode, providing an exclusive glimpse into Troy Harris's journey.
All right, we are here with Troy Harris from Harris Build. Let's get right into it. Give us a little bit of a rundown of who you are, what you do.
Yep. My name is Troy Harris. We're a builder in the Bass Coast who specialises in sustainable construction. We've been established since 2016. We've just built just over 50 homes, all focused on sustainability. So
nice. Yeah. So how many have you done in the Cape itself, do you think?
We've been completed or been a part of just 16 homes, it is. 16. Which I actually added up this morning.
Yeah, cool.
You forget the numbers, but it's not about the numbers, I guess. But yeah, 16 homes.
And you work with Jess in a collaborative way,
we
get involved in the pre-construction and help with the consultation with the design and
absolutely. So if there's an opportunity where you can actually get everyone together at the start, I guess it's always something that we try to do.
Yeah, great.
It works better. The end result's better. The client gets a better product because everyone's involved. So it really is a no-brainer for the construction of it.
So where did it all start for you? Were you in a trade prior to becoming a builder, or what's your origin story, so to speak? John?
Yeah, I guess. Early days, I guess I knew I wanted to be a builder. I finished school in year 10. I left school early.
Yep.
And I just got stuck straight into the trade. And we had a lot of, sort of bosses back in the time, and they all specialised in different things. Some were like contractors who just done framing, and there was just a mix of employers.
Yeah.
So I guess that's how we started. I always wanted to be a builder. I always wanted to establish my own brand. It wasn't until we seen the sustainable stuff come through, which I think at first it was the design that really got me excited about it.
Yeah.
Not knowing so much about the sustainability stuff, but yeah. So I guess that was it. We just wanted to build these cool looking houses, and that's what it was. Like different products on these homes just was really appealing.
Yeah. And you live in the Cape as well, don't you?
Yes, we do live in the Cape. We just moved in last week, actually.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, we've got a nice little comfy house in there.
Nice.
So it's great.
How do you find it?
The house itself performs really well.
Yeah.
So I guess you don't realise how well it does perform until you live in a house like that, or if you've lived in a house that is it's got air leakages and mold and stuff like that. If you've actually lived in a house and then you see one of these style houses, it's comfortable. It's amazing. So
yeah, and is it I suppose maybe some of the details of what your home has been? And you're at Jess, you probably had a finger on that.
Yeah, we managed to got to eight stars on the first push. I think
it was.
We might have gave it a little tweak from there. Might have ended up 8.1. Yeah.
8.1. Yeah. And how was that experience from your previous home to this one? So you've just
instantly felt better inside this home? Is it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been renting for the last 12 months whilst we build, and we've come from a probably a low insulated house. No natural light. Just the basics of the sustainable stuff was missing in the rentals.
Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely notice it.
And the Cape itself, like, how does it feel to be a part of this community? And when I've come here, I'm just always just blown away by just the quality of the builds in here and the design, particularly. It's a endless catalogue of just freaking awesome places.
Literally, it's a display. Yeah. It's a display home, really, isn't it? Like, you could drive around and get lost and sit out the front of homes and just get ideas. But we've enjoyed it. Like, we know what it's all about. Hence why we moved here, I guess. I feel it's going to be a good environment to grow our family. My wife enjoys it. I enjoy it. It is close to work, but I do enjoy it. I feel like there's going to be a lot of benefits in the next few years for us, especially with a young family.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And I mean, are there any, have you had any challenges with working in the Cape? Like there are some fairly considered design guidelines in the Cape compared to most sort of greenfield places.
Yeah, definitely. I guess the thing with Cape Addison is everyone wants an ocean view.
Yeah.
Facing south. It doesn't always work with the...
This is a common theme.
Yeah. It's very challenging because, you have to be able to accommodate what they would like in the house, like the design brief, but also try and, get the energy stuff sorted too. So there's always challenges like that. I guess you probably...
Yeah, getting the balance right can be tricky at times. That's definitely a thing. Yeah. We sort of mentioned that before with those southerly views, big windows and so on and so forth. Don't quite get us there often.
How did you navigate that in your own home?
Well, we don't really have big windows to the south, do we? So, like the ocean views, don't get me wrong, it's amazing, but it's not always practical too. Depending on where the orientation of the block is, or your garage, for instance, there's a lot of things to consider. So you don't design the house around the view.
Yeah.
Short walk to the beach from here too. We're pretty lucky.
Oh absolutely. Gosh, I just enjoy walking around the grounds. It's the green space. What is the ratio?
I think it's 50%.
50%.
Yeah, 50% open space.
Yep.
I think there's 220 or 30 blocks. I'm pretty sure a site this big could accommodate nearly 1,000 in a normal sort of residential development.
Wow. Okay.
So just for a bit of an idea of walking tracks, open space, community parks, gardens, so on and so forth. Yeah, big focus on that community aspect and community connection with your neighbours and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's evident as well. Like, I don't think I can walk past anyone without getting a wave or a hello.
It's friendly.
Yeah, I wouldn't get that at home. Do you have a favourite aspect of building that you just thoroughly enjoy, particularly with the sustainability or the energy efficiency side of things? Like, are you blower door testing, or are you focusing or have a passion for anything in particular when it comes to this?
The blower door testing is a requirement at the block. And that said too, when we build outside the Cape, we put it into our standard scope.
Yeah, cool.
So it's one of those things, like, you can sit back at the end of the job and actually sort of see the performance of the house. It's a good educational tool. Like, we have apprentices now that can walk around at this stage with the camera and actually see their installation job that they've done. And so, it's pretty amazing in that respect.
Yep. I don't know. I know Jess and I have spoken on education and the importance of how that works, particularly how much you can gain from collaborating. You get to get on build sites, you get to get into see the design side of things. Like, is there anything, Jess, that you've benefited in teaming up with Troy and the team and that education side of things?
Oh, he's always one of my first phone calls when I can't figure out how to do something. How does this work? How do I build this? What are we doing here? The collaboration side of things is amazing. And being able to pick someone's brain and fix the problem before it becomes a problem on site is always a good thing.
Yep.
That's a big one. I mentioned before that, we've learned more in the last 5 years doing projects in and around here than we did previously. So, collaboration is key.
I guess every job, there's always something different to learn too.
Yeah.
Like, we never stop learning in this job.
Do you do anything particularly with your team around education or?
Yeah, we're lucky. So we have all our guys are employees of the company. So
Yep.
we can actually once the the project is complete, we can sit down and assess what we've done right. Sit down and just discuss it. Like I touched with the thermal camera, like we can actually see, how we went about it. The wall junctions, insulation, and those sort of things. Like that's something now that our apprentices do.
Yeah.
Like it's part of their scope, and they just do it now. Whereas, if you don't sit down and actually show them that there's a cold spot in that junction, you have to explain to them why we're doing it. But the minute you see it,
They get it.
they get it. So
Yeah, I can imagine there's a few apprentices out there listening right now that are like, I want to work with them.
yeah, it's cool to see. It's an absolute amazing tool. The camera.
Yep.
If you're a chippy listener and you haven't got one in the trailer, it's a good investment.
What camera do you actually have, just for listeners just who might be interested in picking up one themselves?
It does have. I don't know the exact model, but
A FLIR? Is it a FLIR camera?
No, it's not a
No,
Flow.
different
It's
type.
Volvo or Volvo or something.
Yeah.
Volvo.
No, that's okay. That's it's a good bit of
But yeah,
advice for people
absolutely.
listening. So, yeah, I suppose, there's a lot of discussion around learning and education, and you've said you started the business in 2016. So,
Yeah.
what a pretty pivotal time to start a business in the building industry. How's that been for you? How have you found from when you transitioned from an employee or a contractor or whatever you're doing into having your own business, and what's that change been like for you from starting to now?
Yeah, I guess like you just said, 2016 probably wasn't ideal for the construction, but I guess when you're starting your business, you don't think about that. You just, we had a attraction to the design, which turned into sustainable construction, and I guess we just we chose the direction of what we wanted our business to look like, and we tried not to deviate from it. I guess just stick in our own lane and build these homes.
Yeah. So where did you both start off together, collaborating?
We were introduced by a mutual builder friend.
Yeah, it was.
You were living in Leongatha at the time.
Yeah.
So Troy was about to kick off Harris Build. Mutual friend sort of introduced us. We drew up the first house in Leongatha and sort of went from there. Did one, we did another one.
Yeah.
Then we did some for clients, and
I guess the first house that that you adapt done for us was a personal residence in Leongatha.
Oh, cool.
And we had some ideas. We'd done a bit of traveling, as you do, you travel around and you take photos and, design stuff that you like. And we tried to implement it into this one house. And Jess was amazing. We came up with all these ideas and he said, yeah, that's cool. Let's sort of roll with that. So it just sort of worked. I guess, and once the house is finished, you can actually sit back and reflect what it looks like. And I guess that's when, the phone sort of started to ring. We got to pick up a few jobs here and there. It starts off slow and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you introduce into that home of your own, like, to begin with? Was this a passive solar design was obviously a consideration, and all the normal things that you'd introduce into a design? Is that where it all started? Or did you already have a solid understanding of this yourself, Troy, and just wanted to go from that day one? Or is this something that's evolved?
Yeah, I think we had like that. We had the bones of the features. I think we had that sort of dialed in. Just sort of made everything work for us. Materials and different types of materials and claddings was something that we just seen stuff that we liked.
Yep.
But there was some cool features of the house. It's still one of the homes that gets mentioned today, like 6-7 years later.
Yeah, great.
There's still people that say, hey, that house in Leongatha. But we're very lucky. We managed to build the thing, and yeah.
Do you have some words of advice for anyone who's listening who is starting out and starting their own construction business, or maybe just starting out in general in the industry? Like, any words of wisdom to share?
Yeah, I do. There's a lot of things. I guess to learn as much as you can. Like you look at apprentices, you got 4 years to learn absolutely as much as you can, and then I guess start by the small things, like the basic stuff of the construction that technically is not that hard, but it's really important. Like installation, it's an apprentice job, but it's also one of the most important jobs of the whole build.
Yeah.
So you can, if you try and get your guys to do those things to the best of their ability, it's just just got to work hard at it, I guess. Once you tick off that box, you go to the next thing, and then all of a sudden, what's hard today is also, it's not so hard tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's I suppose that just comes back to giving that time to train and teach and educate your team, especially the apprentices who are coming up through that, because I guess that's going to set their expectations for the rest of their career, right? Like that's
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the blower door test is such a great tool, because we can get the guys in there and, like we know from experience that cavity sliders tend to leak. Like we just know the areas to look for. So then when something else comes up that's not that area, we think, oh, why is that? What have we done wrong here? Or what have we done differently? That's such a good tool.
Yeah, nice. If you you also collaborated on your own home, Jess.
So Troy built my house at the Cape. We're 9-star, one of the first 9-star houses up at the Cape. Worked with Troy on that one. He brought it all to life, put it all together. The house performs unbelievable. The finish was top notch and couldn't be happier, to be honest. And now we're neighbours, so even better.
What did you introduce into your home to get it to 9 stars, Jess?
Design was a big one. Yep. We set out to make sure that anyone could build that house. So there's nothing that's not sort of normal building materials, building practice, any of that no one else could achieve. So
do you agree with that, Troy?
Well, you definitely could. You could build that house on a lot of blocks throughout the area. Like it's definitely a house that's affordable to build too.
Yeah, good. That's so I threw on a bus a little bit.
I thought he was going to ping me on the curved wall, but anyway.
I was waiting for it.
The biggest, the thing that we spent the most money on was probably the thermally broken windows. That was our major upgrade. Other than that, it was just sealing it up right. It's a very small footprint. It's like 140 square meters. It doesn't have a lot of ins and outs. It's sort of rectangular in the floor plan. A lot of those things helped big time when you're trying to push that energy rating. Less surface area, small floor area, getting the glazing ratio right, window to floor area. That was all put under the microscope. I did about 15 or 20 energy ratings on that house. Just tightening the screws, tweak to get it to try and get that sweet spot. Really it was just a window upgrade that got us over the line and into the 9s. 2.5 bats in the walls, very common. R6s in the roof, so that's probably a little bit of an upgrade from say a volume build or whatever, but we made sure there was space for it to fit. Insulated the slab, which we do on most jobs. That was a big one. Extra insulation under the waffle pod slab.
Yep.
And then getting the glazing right. They're the key ones, other than sort of design and that sort of stuff.
One thing I'm sort of curious, where I am, it's just rock. Like one of our projects that just visited us on in Castlemaine is a Class A site. So it's literally rock. And being close to a coastal region, is it sandy here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's one of the challenges with the construction. Depending on whether it's winter or summer, every site changes and it's different. We've had one example of this is we had a raft slab, insulated raft slab on a job just down the road, and we started excavating through and it just turned to soup and it just was not going to happen.
Yeah.
So we went back and we changed the whole slab to screw poles on an insulated waffle slab. There's definitely some issues with the soil. Like the soil, sand is generally good. Don't get me wrong; it's probably better than rock. But it does come with its own challenges.
Yeah. So I think there's probably a little bit of interest in that from those who are maybe on the building side of things listening. How do you navigate this? How do you decide the best fit for type of slab for a site here? And you're actually probably even diving into the details, a little bit of the methodology of how you install the under slab insulation. Yeah. Waffle pod's relatively straightforward, but maybe step through a raft too. So
yeah. So I guess with that job, so it was an insulated raft slab. So that we started to dig the beams and excavate stuff, and we just realised it wasn't going to happen. So we reassessed. I think you, myself, and a tad possibly. We broke the job down and we changed it to the insulated waffle slab. Screw piles, I guess, turned out to be a better solution because you don't lose that insulated section throughout the beams.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it was a challenge at the time, but we probably got a better outcome, I guess, with the insulated stuff.
Yeah. So you're insulating the beams as well on a typical stiff and raft slab with that?
So the load bearing walls aren't insulated. So there's quite a few throughout a 2-story house. So there's a lot of areas that technically don't get insulated.
Yep.
So then if you adopt the screw pile method, it's a suspended slab. So, you're only limiting, the screw pile itself, which is minimal. So I guess, you change the whole slab, then you get a fully insulated slab.
Yeah, that's great. So again, collaboration, you're able to resolve a problem and work it out and get a better outcome. So yeah, there's a lot of interest around insulated slabs at the moment. I think people are starting to see more and more of it. They're kind of questioning whether or not it's actually worthwhile. We've personally got ground temp sensors on projects monitoring this. Where we are in Central Vic, it does get pretty cold. It's about 7 degrees is the lowest we've seen in the winter. I'm assuming it's probably not too dissimilar down here as well. I don't know how sand reacts, but with holding temperature and whatnot. But I'm guessing that when you're doing your energy ratings, you're seeing a significant improvement by insulating the slabs and
a whole
full star.
whole star often.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I expect every time I add a level of insulation to the slab. I'm getting an extra star.
what thickness are you putting into your slabs?
It's pretty common we use the 50 mil stuff on most jobs, but if we are chasing it a little bit, then we'll go up to the sort of 70 to 75 mil.
Yep.
My house was 100 mil.
Yep.
Just because we were trying to push it a little bit harder.
Is that an EPS or an XPS product that you're using?
EPS, I guess.
Yeah, the
EPS.
Yep. Yeah, gotcha. No, it's lots of interest in it. I think it's starting to the Cape's ahead of of the curve. We know that. So what you're probably seeing is not a true reflection of sometimes of what is exactly occurring out there in the greater regions.
Well, what is the climate zone? We're going to have to, it's actually going to be a requirement for new NCC insulated slab for
6, 7 and 8.
6, 7 and 8, which we're 6.
Yep.
So every job.
Yeah. I think they might have snuck an exemption in for waffle pod.
Yep. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think we need R1. The waffle pod gets you R.6, so it's pretty close. Yep.
0.6, what thickness is that?
That's just standard 225 void former.
Yeah, cool. So what other projects have you guys teamed up on?
Obviously lots in the Cape, plenty around the Cape where we've kind of grabbed the same model and just picked it up and done it elsewhere. Phillip Island, Inverloch, Harmers Haven, all very local really to sort of the Cape Patterson region. All with the same mindset, trying to achieve the same outcome. It seems there's a bit of spillover work from clients that like the idea of the Cape, couldn't get in at the time, bought somewhere else, but still have that philosophy that they want to live by and design and build and that sort of stuff. So a lot of it is very similar to what we're doing in here, which is awesome. Like that's the whole idea. This is here to show that it can be done and you can pick this up and do it somewhere else. Yeah. That's what's starting to happen, which is really great. They're the projects that we prefer to do.
Likewise. Yeah. Are you finding that clients are specifically seeking you out because of your approach to building?
I guess you say yes. They come for a drive and they see the signs.
Yep.
They jump on the phone, but I guess we've built confidence as well. So I guess so.
Yeah. No, I can only imagine that some of the people the conversations you're having with inquiry are probably educated in some regard, are they? Or
it's funny. Sometimes we get inquiries, from someone who's looking at a block they haven't actually purchased yet, but they know that we do sustainable stuff, and they say, look, do you think this is a good one to buy? And I guess in a way, this depends how you see it. This is probably one of the biggest decisions they're ever going to make. But they jump on the phone and asking for a little bit of advice, and so you don't say, no, buy the block and then come talk to me. You just you give them your advice, your honest opinion. Like you ask my wife the amount of times I've jumped in the car and gone for a drive and just look at some random real estate. But I guess that, you know, it makes you feel good that you're doing, I guess, the right thing and people value your opinion. So
Yep. Is your wife involved in the business as well?
yeah, she is. So we have a young boy, Jack, who's just turned 2, so he takes up a lot of the time now. But
Sure.
yeah, Kelly's been there from the start as well.
Yeah, and they're loving being in the Cape as well, I imagine.
Well, it's actually, yeah, she does love it. Kelly's sister is also in the Cape, and so is her mother. So we've gone from no babysitters to a babysitter on call. So it's been quite good.
Yeah, no, that's always a helpful thing. I don't know if you got anything further to add, Jess. You're on.
I just want to say thank you to Troy and the Harris Build team, especially because today we're doing this thing from one of Troy's a house that he's built to sell in the Cape, for sale, ready to go. Get on board. He kindly lent us the venue for the day. Yeah. We're sitting here. It's beautiful and warm. It's freezing cold outside. We're in t-shirts. I guess it would have made it'd be hard for today to happen without Troy letting us let us borrow the house for the day. So thank you very much.
No problems at all. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think if I can, I might grab you both and we'll do a bit of a video vlog walkthrough of the home and just talk about the features and really just highlight it. As we mentioned, it is currently still for sale.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? Cool. So interested to have a look at that. Just hear more about it. It is a beautiful home, beautiful design, well built. It's credit to you both. We always ask our guests one final question, and it's what if you sort of had one wish? What would it be if you could change the industry, or if there's anything you would provide as words of wisdom for?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess there's a few. As an employer, I think skilled trades is a massive thing for us. It is now, and I can say it most likely will be in the future. So I guess that's going to be a challenge. Like we can talk about sustainable stuff and energy rating stuff, but if we can't actually get people to implement it on site, and that's a challenge.
Yep.
So I think that needs some work. Like I look back when I started my apprenticeship, and there was like 30 young, keen, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids that are just ready to just jump into the world of construction, and I just don't think that's the case anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be an issue moving on. So if we have a wish, I guess, we can work on getting tradies, kids back into the trade.
How do you think that you should approach that? Like what would entice?
Such a challenge, isn't it? Like this.
Yeah.
A trade school, or like, I guess when you're at school, I think, well, when I was back at school, there was always the assumption that the real smart kids would go to uni, and the not so smart kids would just get a trade. But now looking at, in this position that we're in now, when we're trying to implement high performance stuff, like a trade apprenticeship is just as important.
Yeah.
As going to university, like it's coming back to being the same path, the same level. So yeah,
I actually did both. I went to uni and also was a carpenter in a past life. Yeah, so trade school was exactly what you described. It was a group of young, enthusiastic people just loving it, absolutely just loving construction. And I don't have any connection with anyone now, but what do your apprentices say to you? What's their experiences of going through trade school and being an apprentice now? Like what's...
Yeah, that said, I do have 2 second year apprentices that are kicking goals. They're amazing what they do. So if you're listening, keep going, boys. Are
they keen on the the performance aspects of the builds as well, like seeing the blower door and the thermal camera?
I think they do. Like they enjoy seeing the finished product.
Yep.
Yeah, which is important. We do get to see the whole house get constructed. Like we do slabs ourselves, the concrete slabs. So we do quite a lot of the stuff. So they get to see a whole range of it.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you, Troy.
No worries.
I'm going to mic you up again now and pick up the video camera and we'll go for a tour.
Yeah, excellent.
Beauty. Thanks, mate.
No worries, thank you.
A quick note before we wrap up. The views, discussions and insights shared in this podcast are for entertainment and informational purposes only and not a substitute for professional advice. Please consult with a qualified expert for any specific queries related to your individual needs. Now, with that said, we really hope you enjoyed the podcast. Thank you for listening to the Outlier and Adapt podcast. You can find helpful links and contact information regarding this episode in our show notes. If you like our show, please leave a review and make sure you subscribe to never miss a new episode. If you have further questions for us or want to share some additional feedback, please feel free to DM us on Instagram or Facebook. Until next time on the Outlier and Adapt podcast.